Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was Moana 2, making $18 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $395 million and a worldwide total of $883 million. Moana 2 definitely got a lot of the Christmas bump this weekend. I thought this would be the end of, or at least last weekend would be the end of Moana 2, given the 2 new wide releases. I thought, a complete unknown would capture general audiences a bit more, but Moana 2 still has that grasp over a lot of people. This could have been larger part due to a lot of the family films out right now got sold out, and this was just the better second option for some people. But this is still really impressive to see, as it was looking like this movie was on the slowdown period. It was going to wind down a bit, but this definitely gave it the boost it really needed, as it's now just $5 million away from surpassing $400 million domestically, and it's definitely going to do that probably by the end of today, and it's now less than 20 million away from 900 million worldwide, which it should probably get to before the end of the year probably. And hopefully this will give it the boost it needs to get over $1 billion. Like I said, I think it's just going to barely get over that milestone, but it's getting very close to that milestone, so it seems very likely that it will end up happening. Yeah, a really swell weekend for Moana 2. Definitely gave it a lot of juice. It certainly needed. Again, I was a bit doom and gloom on this movie in the past couple of weeks. It definitely seemed like we were headed to the slowdown period. It was winding down a bit, losing its luster, but this definitely gave it the life and juice and energy I think it really needed right now. Yeah, just a really solid weekend for Moana 2. Number 4 was Wicked, making $19 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $424 million and a worldwide total of $635 million. Lo and behold, another movie receiving a big Christmas bump, though it wasn't as big as Moana. Moana had a 43% increase, this had a 40% increase, but still, this is a very huge bump indeed. I think in large part due to just, once again, the solid word of mouth and the really impressive repeat value this movie has had. I think I've said it already on this series a couple times before, but the number of people I've seen online who have said they've seen this movie 4 or even 6 times already has just astonished me. People just love going back to this world, seeing these characters and listening to these songs again, and it hasn't gotten old for a lot of people. And I think, because this was the big critically acclaimed, beloved musical, it's no wonder why this movie took off as far as it did. I also think the sing-along re-releases definitely helped here as well. I saw a lot of people posting about their theaters and their audiences singing along, and let me just say, you all are y'all were very passionate about your singing, I'll say that. And because of how successful this weekend was for the film, it has officially surpassed the $400 million milestone. It's on its way to $450, and hopefully as we draw closer to award season, that gets it to $500 million worldwide. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I could be wrong. I could be shooting too far into the stars here. And on the worldwide side of things, it has also definitely picked up the pace, as it's now surpassed 600 million worldwide, and it's on its way to 700 million. Don't think it's gonna reach the heights of Moana 2, unfortunately. That movie just had a bigger grasp internationally, but this is still a really impressive run altogether for Wicked. Again, it doesn't show any signs of stopping, especially domestically. It just keeps on going, keeps on chugging along, and I think it's going to continue to do that as we head into the new year. Yeah, overall a great weekend for Wicked altogether. What more else is there to say? Number 3 was Nosferatu, making $21 million this weekend, and since it opened on Wednesday, Christmas Day, it adds to a domestic total of $40 million and a worldwide total of $43 million. This is the 5th biggest opening for a horror film this year, knocking Terrifier 3 out of the top 5, but it still sits behind Longlegs, Smile 2, Alien Romulus, and A Quiet Place Day 1. Talk about the surprise of the holidays, because honestly, this movie should not have done as well as it had. A gothic horror vampire movie coming out on Christmas Day, where like 4 other family movies, 3 of them which being musicals, are out. Like this shouldn't even been in the running, but it turned out to be a big holiday surprise. It killed it on Christmas Day with $11 million, and it was able to stick throughout the weekend. There was a lot of worry that this was going to be like The Color Purple all over again. As you remember last year, that movie crushed it on Christmas Day, but then it completely fell down the well soon after. But no, the film was able to remain in the top of the box office and was able to score a pretty solid opening for itself, especially given the fact that the film cost at the very least $50 million, and it's already made a majority of that back already, and the word of mouth and reception has been very positive. Many critics have called it the best horror film of the year. Some people are even saying it's the scariest movie of the year, and it got a B- on Cinema Score, which for the type of horror movie this is really impressive. I think it's safe to say that people are enjoying this movie a lot, and I think it should hold itself well throughout the rest of the holiday season. People seem to be really liking it, and it doesn't seem to be on the front-loaded side of things, and there isn't going to be any other horror films until the new year when Companion and Wolfman hit theaters, so it's still got some time to make some headway for itself. But this is looking like it's going to be a pretty solid hit for Robert Eggers, certainly his biggest movie for sure. Yeah, just all around a really strong opening for Nosferatu. I'm hoping to see it continue to do even better as we head into the new year. Yeah, just a very strong opening altogether. Number 2 was once again Mufasa the Lion King, making $36 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $113 million and its worldwide total to $327 million. Talk about a comeback, as I think as well as many other people, were very negative on this film last weekend because, let's be honest, last weekend was just not a good weekend for this movie. Reviews were bad, the opening was bad, audience reception was bad, just everything was just bad, and it seemed like this was going to be the big Disney dud of the year and the big holiday dud of, well, the holidays, really. Things were not looking very good to this movie. But as soon as Christmas Day came and went, the film was just like a bullet train. It just sped past all the competition, not only dominating Christmas Day, but earning a huge $15 million on the holiday. Like, that is insane. Like, that is almost half of what this movie made on its first weekend. It did that in a day. That is insane, and it has definitely blown past the competition and has been running neck and neck between Sonic. There are some days where this movie's ahead, but others Sonic is ahead. It has been a really fascinating and competitive box office run between the two movies, and while spoilers for number 1, Sonic has definitely gained some ground, Mufasa has been running closely behind this movie for sure, and it put up a good fight this weekend, as there was roughly a $200,000 difference between the two of them. Not only that, but this movie went up 4% from last weekend. Very impressive. It definitely gained some ground this holiday season. I think it's safe to say that pretty much everyone who wanted to see this movie waited till Christmas. They were all busy with the holiday fumble and rumble, Christmas parties, last minute shopping. So when they actually had the time to go and check this movie out, they went to see it in droves. We'll see where this leads the movie. Again, hopefully this isn't just the holiday bump, and maybe word of mouth is actually spreading to this movie, because I'm all for like these big holiday surprises, definitely, especially with what happened last year. I think we could see another holiday surprise happening with this movie for sure. It's not going to be, once again, it's not going to be the 2019 Lion King. Like, just throw that out of the window. Like, no. But it looks like this movie's gonna maybe turn its ship around for itself. After such a terrible weekend, things are looking a bit brighter for this movie. Worldwide, things are off to a good start as well. It surpassed its $200 million budget, and I'm sure it's going to double that worldwide by the end of this weekend, certainly by the time the new year comes and goes. Yeah, things are looking really solid for this movie. Again, who knows, maybe this is just the holiday rush, maybe people just going to see this and then just not passing by it anytime soon after that. But man, this was a really solid surprise turnout for Mufasa the Lion King. Hopefully things continue in this trajectory for the film as we once again head into the new year. And finally, let's end the video off with the number one movie of the weekend, which was once again Sonic the Hedgehog 3, making $37 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $136 million and a worldwide total of $210 million. So despite being the only holdover that fell this weekend, it only dropped 38% from the previous weekend, which is really impressive, especially when you consider all of the competition it had to go up against. And it seemed like it was going to lose some steam, especially on Christmas Day, where it lost not only to Mufasa, but also Nosferatu, as both those movies put up a really strong performance on Christmas Day. But soon after that, once again, Sonic was really putting up a good battle between those movies, especially Mufasa. It gained the ground and lead a couple days over Mufasa and really made for a really competitive and entertaining box office watch. And while once again it claimed victory over Mufasa, it only was able to do that by just $200,000. It really had to put up a good fight against the competition, but was still able to remain victorious, and because of that, it was able to surpass its initial production budget of $122 million, both domestically and worldwide. Things are starting to roll out internationally, and things are looking pretty promisingly. It just needs like roughly $44 million to get to the doubling point, and I think it'll definitely be able to do that by the end of this week. Maybe not before the end of the new year, but certainly by or around once the new year begins for sure. The word of mouth has just been super strong with this movie thus far. People are still going out and seeing it and encouraging others to go and check it out, and it is definitely starting to outpace the other Sonic movies. It's surely going to surpass the first one, and I think it's definitely going to surpass the second one for sure, given the holiday legs and the strong word of mouth and reception this movie has gotten. So yeah, despite some really tough competition, it really had to fight it out and duke it out against Mufasa. The movie still came out on top, and it's still likely going to be one of, if not the big holiday movie this season. Yeah, Sonic 3 is still doing really good numbers all around. It might lose the worldwide numbers to Mufasa, but it's still doing very well for itself, and its advantage being, the better, more well-received film, and, the cheaper one. This doesn't cost $200 million. So Sonic at least has that going for it, and the strong word of mouth. Yeah, another solid weekend for this movie. The movie's still doing really well. And those were your top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, and normally this would be the part of the video where I discuss the upcoming new wide releases and seeing where they would land in the top 5, but for the first time in a while, there doesn't seem to be anything new, or at least widely new, hitting theaters this weekend. I know the new Wallace and Gromit movie is coming out this weekend, but that's on Netflix. As far as new wide releases, we won't be seeing anything in the new year until January 10th, when Den of Thieves 2 and Companion come out. So there very well may not be a new box office chat next week. But if there's any new changes to the top 5, like a new movie does manage to crack in, or maybe there's some sort of rearrangement in the top 5, maybe Mufasa gets the ground over Sonic, I'll be just sure to discuss how those movies do when they land in the top 5 on the next box office chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.